Oh, hey.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, good.
You're
Easy
first,
busy.
first again, first again.
Well, actually, I have to leave like within 20 minutes.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Hopefully
My
Lloyd's
son's
on
at
his way.
baseball practice, so I have to go pick him up.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah. So it's like life and chaos and all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
basically.
Your hair is cute.
Thank
Is it like
you.
shorter? Like I feel like there's like
I
long
cut it a
layers,
while
like a
ago.
bob. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I put a little bit of color in it. It's been cut for a while. It was cut last time I was on with you guys, but
Yeah.
because it was so dark, nobody could tell because I had
Yeah.
dark clothes on. So I put some blonde in there so you could see it's actually hair.
Oh my God.
Because I felt like it was just a floating head when I had black on. It was just black and black. So it was just
Yeah.
like a floating head. So yeah,
That's cute. I think Lloyd's coming. He should be here. I mean, he said
I
he
hope
would come.
so.
Well, I would hope so too. That's funny. I mean, it is his day, kind of,
His
right?
thing, yeah.
It's his thing. Um, any other chaos besides your hair chaos?
No, just getting ready for another quick little vacation and that's it. I'm going out to New York for a little bit, so
Oh
that'll be
my
fun.
God, look at you. That's
Yeah.
fun. That's
Yeah,
so fun.
I got like a vacation like every so I went to Hawaii in this past couple weeks. I went to Hawaii and then I'm going to New York and then in January I'm going to Virginia. In February I'm going to Vegas. So it's like every single month.
Is this for work or was
No,
this?
the first one was family vacation. Second one's a friend vacation. Third one is I'm going to see my little sister, family vacation. And then that last one's gonna be more work-ish,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
Vegas, so it's not really work.
Wow, you're like all over the place. Oh my God, you're like Gabby.
Yeah, I know, right?
I
I wish I
know.
was like Gabby. You kidding me?
I know, me too. I'm gonna message Lloyd and see if he's on his way.
Okay.
Um, he should. Party. Sorry about the yo-yoing between plans. I don't know if you saw that. I can host, run, manage, and plan a podcast, but if I try to plan something bringing in the man babe for like a family vacation or to do
Uh-huh.
something, it's just chaos. Like
Yeah,
I'm
for
like,
lack of a better word.
yeah, like I was trying to schedule just like a little mini vacation, like
Uh-huh.
a staycation. So we weren't going to be leaving Florida, but we have tons of places to go around in
Uh-huh.
Florida. And
Yeah.
so I was trying to get closer to where he works, which is north of here, about an hour away. And I was trying to get, to like a resort where we could go and hang out for the day. And then he could come
Yeah.
home. It would be a quick trip from work. And then he could hang out with us. And it was centered around like one day off that he had.
Uh-huh.
Of course, it's like freezing now down
Oh
here. It's like
no,
in the
bummer.
70s. That's cold for us.
I know, right? 70s. Oh my gosh.
I know, but it's like that's like 50s, I
Uh-huh.
guess.
It's
So
cold, yeah.
it's cold. And but this always happens with him. Whenever he takes time off, it's like raining, it's
Oh,
cold, or if
bummer.
I've taken him to Universal before with the kids, like our second trip. And first we went with the kids and and he didn't come. And so the second time we took him and it was like 40 degrees at Universal.
Bummer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
it's like status quo for him, but so I was like, are we going? We're not going. We're going. All right, we're going. All right, then I can't do this. And then I was like, okay, we're not going. All right, we're gonna go. It was just
yeah.
chaos.
A lot of back and forth. Oh, that
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah. So
Oh,
that's okay.
well,
But we're gonna go. He got hockey
good.
tickets tonight, so he's happy.
Nice.
We're going to the Hertz Arena and yeah, so it's the K-Wings, which is from West Michigan, and they're
Okay.
coming down to play, I think, Everglades. I'm not really, I mean, I like hockey, but I don't really like hockey.
Follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, same.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. But I think I would rather watch hockey versus football, but I will watch both. I don't know how
I
that.
will watch any sports event if it's live.
Oh, really?
Any
That's
sports event. I'm
interesting.
cool. If it's from tennis to pickleball, whatever it is, golf, I'll watch it live, but on TV, I'm like, oh, I can't not stand this. Like, this is boring.
Yeah. Except for the Super Bowl.
I even hate watching the Super Bowl, to be honest. Like,
Oh my God.
if we're not having a party, I'm not watching the Super Bowl. I'm like glancing at it and then I'm going to whatever else I wanted to watch, or I'll go back and check the score and stuff. But if we're not having a party, I'm not watching it.
I'm not having a fun. That's
That's true.
funny.
It's
I
true.
like I like the musical. Like, yeah, I like watch it for the commercials. Yeah. I watch.
I'll watch for commercials, but a lot of times those commercials will either come out prior to the Super Bowl and I'll see them on the internet before
Yeah,
or
that's true.
after. And then halftime shows, again, if it's somebody I really, really love, then I'll watch for the halftime show. But
Yeah.
most part, I'll just wait for the highlights tomorrow.
He's coming. He's on his way. He's late for his own party, just like I was. That's
Yeah,
okay.
right. Happens.
I love the halftime show. I'll watch all the halftime shows.
Yeah.
And then I'm always disappointed. I can't think of one halftime show that I was like, oh, wow, that was good. Was it the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Were they on one? They were on,
I
right? I think
believe
I was
so. A couple
happy
years
with
ago,
that.
yeah.
Was it Maroon 5?
Yeah,
Maroon
that sounds,
5,
yeah, Maroon 5 was cool.
right?
I mean, I'm just
Gwyneth
a big
Paltrow's husband is from, no, not Maroon 5. Who's Gwyneth Paltrow's
Chris
husband? Chris, his band was on.
Coldplay.
I liked Coldplay. Thank you very much. My brain was
I mean,
like,
like I keep trying to remember his last name. Chris, what's his last name? It's not Stapleton. That's a country guy.
no.
Chris.
I don't know. You want me to Google it real quick?
Yes. Chris
Chris-
Morris? No, Chris. What's his freaking last name?
Apple? Is it like Apple or something?
No.
Gwyneth Paltrow, how do you
And
spell
I think
Pal?
it's her ex-husband now too. I think they got a divorce.
Oh, look at you. Ex-husband. If I can
Oh my God.
spell.
Like, I feel like
Chris
I'm
Martin.
Martin, something with an
Ah, God. How is
Morgan
that?
Martin. Chris Martin.
I said
Yeah.
Apple. You said, you said,
All over like
I don't even
Stapleton.
know.
Um,
Stapleton.
Funny enough, I was watching this girl on TikTok and she was talking about Chris Martin's music from Coldplay. Because originally he's from South Africa. Like he grew up in South
Oh,
Africa.
right, right,
So
right.
a lot of the music that you hear on Coldplay's albums, like it has a lot of African drums to them. And I
Does
had
it?
never noticed until she had said that. And then now that I listen, anytime I listen to Coldplay now, I'm like, wow, it really does have like an African bass line to it.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah, it kind of
interesting.
changed my whole, and I've always loved Coldplay in
Me
general,
too.
but like after I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, because he has a lot of South African influence in his
Oh,
song stuff. I'm like,
that's
oh my God.
interesting.
So
Yeah,
I've now it's turned like I said, I've always liked Coldplay, but now it's kind of turned it into a whole different like for them. I'm like, that's
yeah. Like a whole different experience for you.
yeah,
Like when you listen to
exactly.
it. Oh, that's interesting. It's funny because like whenever I listen to lyrics and then I actually like the lyrics that I think that are in my head that I hear are always different than like what the actual lyrics are. I'm sure that happens for
Oh yeah.
everybody. And I think I always find it hilarious when I see those social media posts where someone actually, posts like what they think that the lyrics are, but what really the lyrics are really written as.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not the same at all.
Yeah. I think
But
it's funny when artists actually come out and be like, you guys have been singing it wrong the whole 15 years this song's been out. I
I
think that's
know.
so funny when artists do that. I'm like, I wish more artists would come out and be like, no, these are the words. Don't keep
I know.
re-singing the
That's
wrong ones.
that's true. I was thinking like there's not very many artists that I don't like. Like I mean, or genres of music that I don't like, but I would say country is not my favorite. There's a
Okay.
few artists or a few songs that I would say that I kind of like. There's like a drinking song that's out right now that's country. I can't remember the name of the artist that I like.
That's like 90% of country.
It's yeah, but it's like catchy. I can't remember the name of it. It's just like a real simple song. I guess that's country too. Country and drinking. I mean, I just
Not
basically
you're not
I mean,
helping.
I'm not
That's
helping.
right.
It's like it's too big of a shot in the dark. But and then I was thinking there's only one like I guess now classic rock artist, but it was like not it was more alternative when I was growing up, is REM. I do not like REM. I've just
Really? I love
I've
REM.
I do not like REM. It's been I don't know, since like forever. Like there isn't one bad thing that I could connect from my life
I was gonna say, is it
experience.
like a radio
No,
thing? Maybe it was something.
no, no,
No?
no. You know how sometimes you listen to a song and it's just like, I don't know, Pink Floyd goes on and it's sort of, it like unlocks, like there must
Oh
be
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
like some sort of hurts in there, or I don't know, or I listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers and I, there are memories attached to different songs with Red Hot Chili
Yeah.
Peppers or Tom Petty or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
no, they're like, there's some music that just unlocks things just naturally from just the music and the flow and the bass and
Uh-huh.
everything. And then there's some that are attached to memories. But no, REM, bottom line, do not like REM at all. Like
I wonder.
I hate
Ooh.
it. I hate
That's like something we'd have to like deep dive into. Like, okay, let's start when you were a child.
it. Let's
I'm like, was there somebody around you that liked REM and then, you just kind of
mm,
found a distaste for that person and then that kind of led to you to stay singing, like not liking REM too, but
I don't
that could have been
know.
something. Like
I
I know
mean,
like there's certain songs like I won't listen to because I'm like this song reminds me of so and so and it pisses me off, so I'm not gonna listen.
that's funny. I have some of those too, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
That's why this is off a random tangent. That's why I believe you should never, ever, ever, ever dedicate a song to anybody. Because if something goes wrong, they're always going to remember that stupid song that
oh,
you
that's true.
dedicated to them.
Yeah.
And it's always going to make them pissed off. And a lot of times it's a good song, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. My son's father, when I was with him 16 years ago, he dedicated, quote unquote, um, PYT, Michael Jackson's PYT to me.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, that's my song for you. When I think about you, this is the song that's in my head. And he made it his ringtone and everything. So now every time I hear freaking Michael Jackson, I'm all mad.
You're mad at Michael Jackson
Yeah.
because of
Hi,
your ex.
Lloyd.
That's funny. That's so funny.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi,
Yeah,
Lloyd.
we
Yeah.
Okay,
can.
cool.
Yeah. I have one artist that's like that, Train. There's that it's attached to an ex-boyfriend, but I
Yeah.
still like his music. I'm not mad about it.
I mean, I still love the song, but it still makes me, gives me a visceral reaction when I hear it.
Yeah, I get it. Lloyd, is
What's
there
the
any
song?
song? Go ahead.
What's
It was
what's
a,
the song?
so we were talking about not dedicating songs to anybody ever because it will ruin the song if you guys, go sour.
Break up.
And the song my son's father dedicated to me like 16 years ago was PYT, Michael
Mm,
Jackson's PYT. Love the song, great song, but every time I hear it, I think of him and it pisses me off. So I can't enjoy my favorite song, one of my favorite songs anymore.
So that leads me into Lloyd. Is there like a song or an artist you absolutely loathe? Because I can't stand REM, and then we're just gonna leave it at that. That's it. That's what like
Um,
we're gonna dive into that.
no, I know I love music in general, so there's nobody that I loathe. Um, I do have like a whole, this reminds me of her, and that's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, even then, I'm just like, I still fucking love this song,
Right.
See,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
you love lots of different types of music. I think we've talked about that before. Like you're like, I cannot just say one artist, one song. Like you listen to like way too much music.
Yeah. Funny story, I can tell you each song that was playing when I knew I was gonna break up with an ex.
Oh my
Like in the
God.
exact moment that I knew that we were breaking.
Was the
Oh,
song actually playing or was it just in your
Yes.
head? Oh,
No, the song
oh,
was
okay.
playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
the fact that you have
Wow.
soundtracks for your breakups, I mean, that's
Yeah, and I can also tell you so my I've only been in three relationships. My first ex, I was on my way to her house and the song Let Me Go, I think it's like Telesso and Haley Steinfeld.
okay. Yeah, I know.
That song was playing and I was like, okay, this is what's about to happen.
Oh,
My second ex asked if we could meet at a park, and the song The Weather by Lawrence, which is a breakup song, all of these randomly out of a playlist. I have like 1,500 or so
thousands.
songs,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is what's about to happen. And
Wow.
then the third one, Break Even by The Script,
Wow.
which
That's
is
like
even more
Wow.
ironic because it's one of her favorite bands.
that's
But
funny.
yeah,
Like the universe is like, yeah, we know what's
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
yeah,
Heads up, Lloyd.
Right, right. Turn this one up.
yeah.
Well, I wanted to say that like I'm glad that we finally are doing this because we've been waiting a minute to like bring Lloyd in and like highlight Lloyd, the Lloyd Waller.
Lloyd.
And I was thinking about like when I first met you, I was thinking about like I think I met each of you guys other than Gabby and Angela or yeah, Angela and Gabby and I all met together, but like I met you
Mhm.
separately from the girls. And I remember I instantly connected with you and I think it might have been over virtual and we were just chit-chatting and I was like, I like this guy. He's so cool. And I'm like, he's nice, he's kind, he's happy-go-lucky, and he's got a sweet voice that is like killer, and I was like, he's gonna do so good. And then I remember thinking, like, wow, Lloyd and I are kind of on a little bit of a similar path. Like, we're doing the same thing, obviously, voiceover, but every time we had a conversation, we were kind of on like the same page,
Mhm.
and for example, we were kind of like, well, I'm thinking about maybe doing a telephony demo before I'm going to do my commercial demo, or just for one little example. But there was like tons of those little things, and I was just like, it's so nice to be able to have a fellow voice actor that is somewhat on the same page. So that's my little like intro, and I was going to hand it off to Gabby because I know she probably has lots of things to say.
Oh my.
Uh, Lloyd, I'm so glad you're finally here and we finally get to interview you and ask you a whole bunch of questions about your VO journey because you have grown so much. You have absolutely grown so much. And I remember when we would first meet, you would doubt yourself a lot and you would doubt your reads and you weren't sure if this was for you or if you didn't feel confident
Mhm.
in yourself. And even just telling yourself that you did a good job was difficult for you. And now you're doing improv and you're a working VO artist. So this is exciting.
I have chills. I have chills.
I actually, before we go forward, I want to say I don't know if I had actually told any of you guys this, but I maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe Sandy did. I'm in an improv show called Nerds Never Die, which is like a live action tabletop audience participation thing, and we had our first show last night.
Awesome.
Wow.
And so if you look at,
Congratulations.
yeah, I was when we talk about confidence and all, I was like, God damn, I was freaking out all fucking day. But if you look at like my Instagram story or Nerds Never Dies, there's like so many pictures, like people really enjoyed it, and it was like cool because I was like, I'm gonna die, and then I was on stage and I was like, actually, we're okay.
You're thriving. You're not dying. You're thriving.
Yeah,
I
it was
love
great.
that. I love that. So, Lloyd, do you want to tell us a little bit about, or Angela, do you have any moments that you want to share about when you first met Lloyd? I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't know. I mean, I totally agree with Gabby, about, just the switch in your, your movements. Like, I mean, it
Yeah.
was like I just remember having those conversations and like pushing you, be like, just go try out the improv thing, see how it is, and you're so nervous about it, and now you're like, doing your thing, and it's just really cool because again, I don't have the confidence to get up on that stage and do something like that. So it's just really cool to see you like pursue it and like, try different groups and try different troops and different shows in general, like different vibes of shows and things. It's really cool. And to go back on Gabby saying that, the confidence was, small back then. I mean, I feel like that was all of us,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
seeing it switch in all of us is really amazing. And Lloyd, you were like one of the perfect examples, like to see that switch,
Yeah.
for some of us, like I think it was kind of mine was more mellow, I think. Like,
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I'm here.
Mhm.
And I
I'm
switched
not
onto
sure what
here.
I'm doing,
Yeah,
but
we're
I'm
here.
here.
But it was just really cool to see like a big switch in
Yeah.
Lloyd. So
I
again,
remember.
congratulations. Awesome.
I know. And I remember
Yeah.
you texting in our thread, in our accountability thread, going, hey guys, I got invited to go do something.
Mhm.
Like, should I go?
Yes.
So, yeah. And
Yeah.
here we are, like all these many moons later. So, Lloyd, tell us a little bit about like you and like how you, to share, we kind of know, but share with like, our listeners or whoever might be popping in and, listening in on the chaos table conversation. Like, how did you get started in voiceover? I mean, it doesn't have to be
Oh.
um super like, well, in 1984. I mean, I think you were probably born after that, but
Yeah. 93.
Oh
93. Wow.
93.
wow.
Man, let's see. Uh, you know, I see. I have to stop myself from being like when I was a little kid, but I feel
No, you
like
can
they're
say that too.
uh born and raised in Vegas. Oldest of seven kids. Well, five in Vegas, two in California, but oldest of seven. Always been super nerdy. Loved video games and reading. And the crazy thing about like the reading is that when I was little, I actually read so much that if I got in trouble, my mom would send a note to school with me that said Lloyd is only allowed to read nonfiction books.
Your
Sorry,
mom.
that's kind of
Can
cruel. That is actually kind of cruel.
It really
hold on.
is. It
Can we cut real quick? I think your mom is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's fun.
is.
Phenomenal.
She is. Yeah.
but cruel and unusual punishment. I tell you what,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she also used to tell my teachers not to ask me adult questions if they didn't want adult answers.
that's the truth.
Um,
That's the
Yeah.
truth.
but that's the kind of kid I was. I was very uh, don't just tell me something because you're an adult because I'm gonna ask you why. I guess I really kind of have always had a problem with authority. But I've never exercised that issue with authority. Wanted to be a paleontologist, archaeologist, but then I was like, they don't make a lot of money, and I was like, I'm gonna be an author. I was like, they don't, some of them make a lot of money, but
Yeah.
paleontologists and archaeologists actually do make pretty good money. Went to school in North Dakota. That was a terrible idea because it's cold out there if you don't know.
It is.
All they want to do is drink. Not all they want to do, but like
That's all they
look
have
at
to do.
binge drinking rates in the United States. It's bad.
Yeah.
Switched to from English to communications. Oh, I also played football my whole life and wrestled in high school and college, but switched to communications. And I always kind of attribute part of me going into VO to a lady named Nita Ritsky, who was a professor she was an English professor, but she switched to communications the same semester I switched to communication.
Wow.
And I had her for a class called oral interpretation, which is like reading out loud. Um, and she just kind of speaking to the kind of person I guess I kind of turned into in my like middle school, high school years, and the person that you guys have known since, like when I started. I sat down in the front of the room because I was like, I need this to do better because they always say sit in the front if you
The
want better
front,
grades.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in front of the class, she's like, Lloyd, we're going to bring out the dynamic you this semester. And I'm like, oh, Nina, why'd you have to call me out like that? Let's not do that. Like,
I love it.
What's not dynamic about Lloyd anyway, though?
True.
I mean, I think there is a point in my life, probably from somewhere between like from to, from seventh grade until like 2019, 2020. There was a part of me that was just like really in my shell. And
Hmm.
like there are some people who in college would be like, "Oh, I feel like you're coming out of your shell." And I never really felt that, or like I got it to some degree, but like now I can see how certain things, like looking back, hindsight's 2020, see
Mm-hmm.
how certain things affected my behavior and the person I have been. And there's nothing wrong with that person, but I definitely have grown. So, moved back to Vegas in 2019, started the job that I'm at now. Pays really well, but I don't like it. I can say that because my boss and his boss both know that.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's one of those things where I do it not because I like it. I do it because I'm good at it, and I just kind of fell into it because I'm good at it. There was a point over the pandemic where, because I started right before the pandemic, things just got crazy, and I was like, okay, I I don't know about this,
Yeah.
and I was trying to figure out what other things I could do with a communications degree, mass communications. And I just Googling communications stuff. And I don't exactly remember how I stumbled upon the voice actor studio, but I remember when I did, I heard Nita in the back of my and I was like, I guess I can try this. So I went to an intro class and then the beginners classes. Um, and yeah, that's how I got started with voiceover. I think it's important to mention improv because Brent Mukai, who is a coach and he's a full-time voice actor doing just a ton of stuff, video games, anime, and what have it. There was one time we were sitting there and he was coaching me, and he's like, well, if you want to have, you know, if you want to do character work in any capacity, video games, anime, cartoons, whatever, you need to have strong improv skills. And I was like, okay. And I just kind of like left that. You know, I was like, okay, I'll keep that in mind. Months later, the scenario you guys were talking about, Sunny Westbrook, who's also a voice actress, she's in My Little Pony. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Um, she invited people in a voiceover group, a Vegas voiceover group, and was like, hey, does anybody want to go to this improv show? And I was like, ooh, do I want to go to this thing with this lady I've never met? Just meet up? That's weird. And then you all just kind of pushed me into that.
Go.
Yeah.
And I
As,
went
as
and I,
much as we could virtually, at least.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was virtual coercion.
Yeah.
But I ended up going to a show called Bleach Improv. Really loved their show, and I kept going to their shows. I wasn't able to take a class at the time, but the next like cycle, I applied for a scholarship to take their to take level one of their courses, and I did that, and that improv just took on a life of its own. But the crazy thing about it is that if I had not started doing improv, I definitely would not be where I am right now. Because it was after I started improv that I got cleared for my demo.
Right.
There was a level of, despite the fact that I overthink everything and have anxiety out the fucking, it's like a fucking
Wow.
volcano. There's something that was like, okay, well, we're just gonna do it, you know. And I think that's a lot of things where I'm like, I'm gonna die. I was like, well, you're gonna die doing it.
That's right.
You know, I think that has really helped me because even if I don't have, I think there's a part of me that knows I can do things despite the anxiety that I have.
Yeah.
Because I like I you know have like general anxiety. It's like, you know, take medicine for whatever, which I need to go get before I forget again. But yeah, I think that's I have ADHD as well. I
Oh,
did a lot
wait.
of
Get out of
improv. You know,
here.
here we are. I'm gonna okay, really funny story, really quick, really quick.
This guy.
This is a this so yesterday I
Oh.
was nervous for our show, and this is kind of prevalent. I was nervous for our show all day. I had a therapy appointment. I also had a psychiatry appointment. My psychiatrist recommended months ago that I get an evaluation for like all of the things. And I
All
have
of
a
the things.
couple friends who think that I'm autistic, right? And they will not let it go. I'm sitting there with my psychiatrist because the people told me they were going to follow up with me, and I'm like, watch, with my luck, they're going to send it to me on the day I have all these appointments and this show, and I'm going to be all in my head about everything. And they didn't send it to me, but I told my psychiatrist, I was like, they're going to send it to me and they're going to be like, you're super autistic, or they're going to be like, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't even have ADHD, you lazy bum. Why aren't you running a millionaire? Why aren't you running like a multi-millionaire? Like, and she's like, no, she's like, I have some suspicions of what they might find based on our conversations. Um, but I'm not gonna like get into what they are until we get the results. I'm like, well,
Validation.
now I'm wondering. She's like, well, no, just some of this, even just now, some of the stuff we've talked about. And I'm just like, okay, but if it's one of those situations where they don't find something, and she's like, no, they'll certainly find something. And I'm
Yeah.
like, certainly.
Certainly. Well, that
Wait,
He'll find something for sure.
well, now
right?
now you can sleep at night because you certainly have something you have to worry about. There's nothing. My God.
Yeah. And you know,
But I think it's a good idea, though. I
I
I'm
think
here.
it's a good idea
get a
too.
test.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I feel like I need to go get tested for a few things myself.
Everybody does.
I think it
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
definitely help me in some of my, my lack of consistency. I think that's one
Right.
of my things because I'm just like I just can't do it, and I think that's
Yeah.
part of something that's else is going on.
And
I get
sometimes
it.
when and sometimes you label something, then it's like, then it feels solidified and it feels like you can
Hmm.
wrap your head
Yes,
around it. And then you feel like, okay,
absolutely.
now I can find solutions and I have a
Yeah,
plan and
yeah,
I
for
can
sure.
move forward from it. Lloyd, I still
It's like,
remember when you said, you're like, my brain is like on a train. Like, do you remember telling us that story? Where you're like, my brain is like a train.
yeah, really quick. I don't know if you can you hear that? Can you hear the
No,
music? Oh
no.
wow.
No.
I have a limited edition Kingdom Hearts like 20th anniversary clock. I forgot I left my windows open, and when the light shines on it, it plays songs from the series,
I want
and
to see that.
it's a very
Yeah.
I love it. I'll take a
That sounds
picture
cool.
of it.
It says, yeah, send it to us. King of Hearts, you said?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite
Video
game
game.
series. But it's I guess we just hit the hour, yeah, and so it's playing a song, and I was like, oh, I don't know how loud that's coming through.
No, I didn't hear it at all. I love it though.
Your question
About the train.
was Train. Shark Boy and Lava Girl is a movie that
Yes,
came
that's what
out
it was.
early 2000s, adjacent to like Spy Kids and those movies. And there's like a scene where the main character in that movie, all the movie takes place on a planet that is representative of his brain, his imagination.
Hmm.
And so there's like a whole sequence with like a literal train of thought. And I in my brain I envision that when I when I lose my
I love
train
it.
of thought.
I can see that.
I could see that too. And I was gonna say earlier too, like in my introduction, that when I think of Lloyd, I think of you as the voice of reason in our group.
Yeah,
I mean, and I always love, I always love your perspective because you challenge us in a nice way. You know what I'm saying? And it's like your
Hmm.
perspective is different, but it's not so different. And it's like, that's why I always label it as the voice of reason, because sometimes I think all of us get in our heads about stuff, or we have worries or concerns, or we're whatever it is. It could be also positive, like celebrating something, or, just having a train of thought. And I never know, like, I never know where Lloyd's gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? Because and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, because it challenges me. Yeah. And I still remember one day when you were like, all you had to say to me was, I'm really proud of you. And I was like, really? And you're like, yeah, I'm really proud of you. I'm like, oh, Lloyd's proud of me, And it was because like I did something that was challenging and I didn't know how to do it. And
Hmm.
at my age, you were proud of the fact that like I didn't just give up. I figured it out. And I think that like, you have a lot of different types of people in your life, in and around your life that, I think that you said you're the oldest of seven, correct?
Yeah.
So you're kind of a caretaker type person, right? A little bit, maybe.
Oh, that's a look. Therapy has been a doozy. We'll say that. I yeah. It's a thing that I take care of people. I do want to really quick say, even though I don't like say it, and I would say it to too many people, I think there's a lot to be proud of. I am proud of you. You should be proud of yourself because there was a point in which you were absolutely considering just like stopping
Mm,
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So you should definitely be. I'm proud of you.
Well, thank
Gabby,
you.
I'm proud of you too. You're like
Oh,
fucking moving
I'm proud
around
of
and
you.
still doing it. Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we're here to like actually, highlight you and celebrate you because I think we've all been kind of supporting each other along the way. And I think that having the voice of reason of Lloyd Waller is beneficial for everybody. And I always enjoy hearing what you have to say because it gets me thinking. I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Or I didn't realize that I said it this way and maybe it came off that way.
Hmm.
And then you might be onto something or like you've pointed me in the right direction. So I always appreciate that about you, Lloyd. And
Well, thank you.
yeah. And so tell us a little bit about being in voiceover, like your journey. So you improv sort of propelled you past that
Yeah.
final hurdle for you to get your commercial demo because I think that is also a point of similarity that I feel connected to you about that. We were both really, we had set very big goals, right? You and I are very
That's
strategic.
right. Both of
Yeah.
you had
Hmm.
set like goals,
Yeah.
like by this date, I will have this and this and this and that. And it
Yeah.
didn't happen.
No, we had thought out
Yes.
everything
Hmm.
Yes.
strategically and at our own pace. You had your own
Yeah.
pace, but
Right.
like similar moments of thought and
Yeah.
strategic planning.
So yeah, there's definitely a whole. There was a plan, and that has not gone anywhere. Uh, in regards to where I wanted it to be. Um, when I first started, it was really hard because after I moved home, I was living with family, and I put together my booth, but I was living with family in a room that just was not good for sound. And
Mm.
I had to like make sure nobody was doing anything, so I
Mm.
could only really record when like people weren't at home, which was, crappy for me time wise. Like I just was like, okay, well, I'll come home and watch Netflix because people are doing stuff and I can't make everybody stop.
Oh,
Um,
that's frustrating.
you know, um, and then my parents moved, and I moved with them. I was there with them for like a month and a half, and I couldn't put my booth up because like there was no intention for me to stay. Like I needed to get my own place, so I moved to where I moved to my old apartment, which actually is pretty good, sound wise. That's where I did the audiobook I did, which
Yep.
I still feel weird about that book because like I got paid for the book and they wanted revisions and I quoted them for revisions and they never got back to me.
Oh,
I was like, okay, like that's fine if you want that person's name in the book still. Like,
right. Did
Yeah.
it,
um,
did the book launch?
well, here's what the confusing thing about it was that it wasn't. It was commissioned. It was a gift for the author.
Oh, right. Okay. Right, right.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so I don't know, but I have it on my website. They're like, oh, listening to Lloyd sounds like a trusted friend.
That's awesome.
Reading, we all loved it so much. So I was like, cool,
Yeah.
they loved
that's
it.
really
I got
cool.
a review out of it, so and I got my money. I got my money.
Yeah.
Um,
You
and then
got
I
paid.
moved into the apartment I'm in now, which like I think is good for sound, but my booth, I've been so paranoid after moving spaces that it doesn't sound as good as it needs to. And so I've gotten so many more blankets on this booth. I have like I have like a blanket under the bottom of the front wall of the booth to like
Wow.
bring up so there's no like clearance under the bottom to let sound in there.
Yeah.
It's there's stuff I need to do to continue to enhance my booth. But as far as like actually auditioning, uh, those points of transition have kind of made it hard for me to audition how I want to.
Yeah.
Um, my first and biggest job, I did not even know, was I think I told you guys was a Coca Cola thing, but it was internal, and they
Hmm.
use they not hyphenate they small letters, lots of words, little letters.
Acronyms? Like an
They
acronym?
Acronym.
yeah they use like an acronym
I
in
get
the
a point.
naming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, cool. This was a cool thing I did. And then months later, I was like, what do those letters mean?
What did they
I
mean?
was like, it was Coca Cola Southwest, which is like, it's a little complicated because it wasn't Coca Cola, but it was Coca Cola, but now they're all Coca Cola. And I was like, oh man, that was like a national, does it count as national? It's a national client, it's not a national job, but it is because if they're,
Yeah.
it's not a national commercial, but it's like a national internal thing. Whatever. I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I'm annoyed that I didn't know that. I could have been saying that this entire time. Um,
Yeah. For
Oh, you can say it
sure.
now.
Is it like a
I did.
distribution center or something?
I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know at all. I don't know what it was for,
well,
and like there really wasn't even enough context in the thing, in the read itself to tell you like.
yeah.
Mm.
But and.
It
What was it?
happens. That happened to me early on in my career too with like Amazon, but it was like a training video for like an internal training video for Amazon. I think it was like AWS or something. I can't remember, but it was the same
Mm,
kind of thing. And you're like, oh, 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 okay.
yeah,
Well, I guess
um,
I did something for Amazon. So good for you. That's
thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah.
We're
I
cool,
also
cool.
did, I also did a sorry to cut you off.
No, please.
I also did a I honestly don't care at this point if I did a spicy thing. I'm not going to talk about what it was.
I
You'll have
love
to
it.
find it.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny because you can find it, but it's very hard to find it because of some
That's good.
weird distribution stuff that happened. Like it was easy to find and now it's hard to find. I know how to find it,
The
but
NSFW, right?
NSFW, very NSFW.
I know.
Um,
I could only listen to a certain point, and then I was like,
Yeah, me
okay,
too.
Lloyd is like
yeah,
my brother here. Like my son. Like I can't listen. Okay, look,
you
good.
know, um,
But you have a nice flirting voice.
You do.
I got to that part.
Yeah, you did a great job acting. It was a
Yes.
great job acting. Like I
thank
believed
you.
everything that you said. That's
Yes.
why I was like, I can't listen to this.
I
I'm
look.
blushing,
I'm happy
Right?
you didn't get through to get through it all. Good for you. Um, I've done an audio drama that actually is coming out right now. It's called Vindictive. I think I talked about it last episode.
Mm-hmm.
The episode where the episode that I was talking about, it's like episode 7. Some like stuff comes out, and I was like reading in my booth, and I almost cried. That episode came out this week.
Oh,
How do you find that
wow.
audio drama? That's what I was wondering. Like, what
Uh,
platform are they on? Because I was looking.
Spotify, Apple,
Okay.
whatever. I don't use Apple stuff.
And it's
Uh,
Vindictive.
yeah,
Okay. That's the name of
um,
the whole series.
yeah.
And you're a
Uh,
main character?
He's
I
in
am.
episode 7, right? Episode 7?
I'm episode 467. I
Four,
want to
six,
say
seven.
Okay.
at
Okay.
I'm
least
just writing it down. What is your character's name?
Tom Bella Jr.
Tom Bella
Yeah, Bella.
Jr. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
I love
and
it.
hoping for a season 2 so I can do more with that character and also the story. You know, I think it's interesting. I really 1 second. Sorry, I gotta clear my throat.
I just did it.
I It was
Go ahead.
loud, and
Yeah.
I really see a lot of potential in it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like an indie thing, and so I think sometimes it's really hard because when you are if you are like, I would really like to do something on like Cartoon Network, right? But also that's not happening right now. I'm gonna do an indie thing,
Hmm.
and that like the production value is very different there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like what was the one, Imaginary,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, listening to that, and you can like tell that there's like a little bit of a difference between people's microphones and whether
yeah,
like the recording spaces and stuff.
yeah.
And I got like super subconscious about that
Oh,
during I was like, oh, should I, is this bad that like I'm doing this thing with other people who maybe wouldn't uh who if I'm freaking out about my own recording stuff and I hear something in somebody else that makes me freak out a little bit, should I push that out? And I was like, well, I'm in it and I enjoy doing it and I do see a lot of potential, so I should let people know about it because
yeah.
they want to be a season 2. Um,
I think people forget too that like some of those audio dramas, or audio book podcasts, they have on-camera actors that might not necessarily have a voiceover setup,
mhm.
right? Like how we have it set up. So there is a little bit of difference in like in the recording quality, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I think your ear is trained from your day job.
That's true. That's
that
true.
I
and I
think that
also
yeah,
yeah, like I
are hyper aware.
for those who don't know, oh, Gabby, did you want to
All
say
right.
something?
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Go
Oh, I
ahead.
was just gonna say, for those who don't know, my day job, I'm a media specialist, so I do videography, photography,
Yeah.
a lot of editing. I've always I've always done a lot of editing and listening to things. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
an engineer, but I can hear things
Mm-hmm.
that it seems like a lot of people don't hear, even other voice actors, and it freaks me out because I'm like, hey, do you hear this? Like, no, it sounds fine. I'm like, okay. Like, yeah, and that just goes into me being super over. I think overthink everything. Gabby, sorry, what were you gonna say?
That's a good thing. I was gonna ask you about the the audio drama that you just said.
Yeah,
Was it difficult for you to find that connection with that character, or was it easy?
easy because, and I think I actually said this last week. I I, I feel like most of the time you're not gonna audition for a character you don't find anything in common with.
Hmm.
Right.
And so like this particular character I really connected with because like in a nutshell, uh I mean he's doing better than me financially for sure. But black guy, nerdy into tech stuff, just wants to help people. Like he's creating apps to help people.
Wow.
Um and also his relationship with his family, there are certain things uh with his there's an element of there are these things with my parents who I have known and loved my entire life, and this makes me feel a little bit different now
Hmm.
that I'm learning this thing that happened before I was born and
Hmm.
not knowing how to process that.
Hmm.
I very heavily identify with that. I'm not gonna get into what happened, but that's part of the reason I almost cried during that episode. So yeah, I really did connect with his character. Yeah.
That's kind of a cliffhanger. Now we're gonna have to go listen
Yeah.
to the episode and
Now
have to
now I
figure out
have
what
to
he's
go
talking
listen
about.
to, yeah. Great
Thanks, Lloyd.
marketing. Thanks,
No
Great.
Lloyd.
problem.
That was a nice promo setup.
Yeah.
No, thank you. It's good. It's a good story.
It is. So okay, so would you say when you start off in voiceover that your genre that you were like kind of gunning for would be basic commercial, or were you in the camp of character and anime?
So I will say I would love to do video games and anime. And like at some point, if I am doing voiceover for the rest of my life, I will absolutely be doing video games and anime at some point. And which is crazy because when I was little, like I played video games so much, people were like, "Oh, you're gonna work on video games. You're gonna be in video games one
That's
day." And I'm
cool.
like, "Okay, whatever." I don't. And the crazy thing is, when I was little, I was like, "Well, I don't know programming. I don't know. Like, I'm not smart enough to do that." So thanks for letting me know, but it's not gonna happen. And maybe, probably, we're not gonna say maybe, at some point. But I think when I first started with voiceover, I definitely, and I'd still, it's one of those things where, similar to what I said about my job, I just do what I kind of have fallen into, what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the case for a lot of people who do voiceover. Like people always say, you will find out what the industry wants you to do.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think the thing is right now, there have been, I haven't fallen into one specific thing.
Oh.
Right. All of my things have been different,
Mhm.
whether it be like the audio, I've done a couple audio dramas, book, one thing that seemed like a commercial, but I don't know exactly what it was because I couldn't find it. But it seemed like an internal
Like sizzle reel or
travel
something? Oh, okay.
in like it was confusing. It was for I can't even remember now. I did it a while ago. Doesn't matter.
That's okay. Yeah.
Kind of a bigger place, but I can't remember where. And then like the Coca-Cola stuff, but like I know I want to do character and I can do character. I actually had a class with Mick Wingert a couple of weeks ago, who is he voice matches Jack Black. So if you've ever seen like a Kung Fu Panda cartoon, it's probably not Jack Black, it's Mick Wingert.
Oh,
He's done like Iron Man and Disney cartoons, like their newer stuff. He's Heimendinger in Arcane.
wow.
He does a lot of stuff. And I remember we were doing a read and I felt so good about myself because we were like, it was one of those things where there's not a lot of coaching because it goes well.
That's
And there's
cool.
one point he's like, Lloyd, you're giving me gold right now. I'm just trying to pull it out of you. And I'm like, that's gonna live with me forever because this guy's cool. And I
Yeah.
That's the best.
and I'm like, ah, man, if I just had more time.
Right.
That's my big issue right now is because I still have a full-time job,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm doing improv. I don't ever plan on stopping improv. I do plan on stopping my full-time job. What that means is, as I've said a gajillion times, my full-time job right now is my biggest obstacle. It also is the only reason I can afford to live where I live and do anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to. I've been trying to get a better job, um, both financially and flexibility wise, so I can have more time to focus on voiceover. And people have been really, 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 really kind of pushing that I should try not just voice acting, but other forms of acting.
Hmm. Like
And
on
so
camera?
on
Theater?
camera, on stage,
Wow.
That's
and
so cool.
I will say, this started with there's a guy named Jason Husina who's a photographer and improviser and musician and just super talented guy. He asked for volunteers about a year ago because he used to work for Broadway in the Hood. And he was building a boat for their production of Little Mermaid, and he asked people to come over, and it was just me and him building this boat, and we're talking about life and voiceover and improv, and he's like, I feel like you don't want to just voice act. And I was like, what do you mean by that, Jason? And he's like, I don't know, I feel like you want to act. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm gonna sit with that. I'm I, and ever since then I've kind of like seen people, especially in like plays and stuff. There are really good plays that happen downtown in Vegas Theater Company, Majestic Repertory Theater, that have presented things that like change how I view the world, you
Hmm.
know. And I went to a film festival a couple of no earlier this week, uh, and it wasn't Sandy's. I didn't even
Oh,
realize they were the same night, and I didn't know about Sandy
yeah.
because I wasn't checking the WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But I was sitting here watching this stuff, and it was really well done. And as I'm watching these things, I'm like, not just on the acting, but like photography, cinematography, stuff that I do with camera. I'm like creative stuff because I don't really do creative stuff for my job. I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like with
Yeah.
my life?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And so last night I did have a conversation with somebody who locally does a lot of on camera stuff and stage stuff and was like kind of getting some perspective from him about like how he finds roles and, you know, uh, how he's built some experience. So we'll see what happens. But I need to leave my job, I swear to God.
There's so much opportunity out there, not just on camera. I mean,
Yeah.
like if you with your experience and your background from your day job,
Oh yeah.
just I mean everything. Like I would love to do some of the stuff. Like I mean, I'll be I don't I'll sign in the actors. I'll sign them in. I'll be like the actor. I forgot what they're called, but like you corral them and you like you
Yeah.
herd them into places and like take them places. I want to be that person. Or the director needs coffee. Sign me up. Like that. But there's also so much stuff like the mic and the grafters and the
Mm-hmm.
lights and so much
Yeah.
stuff to do. So
I just
that's
want to
interesting.
be involved in the arts, which is a weird thing for me to say because I guess when I was, so do you know when I don't know, Jaws, if
Not
they did this when
weird.
you were in middle school, but well, I'll tell you why. I'm saying why it's weird. I don't know if they did this when you were in middle school, Jaws,
It's because I'm
or if it's
old.
just a Vegas thing. Hey,
I'm just kidding.
education changes.
I'm just teasing you.
But it might have just been a Vegas thing. I think it's an everywhere thing. But Gabby, like when you were in middle school and like you first come in and they have you take like those little like samplers of like, do you want to be in band? Do you want to be in orchestra? Do you want to be
Oh
in
yeah.
drama? I remember when I was in middle school, I ended up doing band,
Hmm.
but I remember doing the drama one and being like, oh, this is really fun.
Hmm.
And I was also simultaneously not going to do that because I was too afraid to do that, you
Yeah.
Mm.
know? And even like and this is I've always I love musicals and like High School Musical. I identify with that movie so much. I was like, I play sports. I could go do a musical. No, the fuck, I was not doing a musical. But the thought was there,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm
That's
doing a thing that like I was, I guess, so afraid of doing before that I like just like shut off any possible, like I just stopped thinking about it entirely.
mm.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool because the arts, whether it be voiceover, like going to plays, theater stuff, improv, like on every level have changed how I see the world, have given me experiences that really have enriched my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I told I told my therapist yesterday, like the three big things. Like there's so many other wants I want in my life, but like the three big things I want are like one to be like financially stable so that
Mm.
I can do whatever the fuck I want out of all the other smaller things.
You're here.
Two, yeah, to be I'm close to financially stable. We're um um two to be involved in the arts, and then three is like relationship stuff. But like those are the things I want. And the other thing for me is that like as a black man in America, the arts in general, like there are big names, right? But they're few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And there's not a lot of black people doing improv, like
Just in the
especially
arts in general, I feel.
yeah, there's
And
not a lot of
yeah.
black people in arts, and I'm like, I can do this and be someone who a kid looks at and says, "Oh, that person looks like me. I can do that."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, because I
Mm-hmm.
really didn't have that growing up. Right, the people that I saw were on a much more inaccessible level. Right,
Right.
as if
Right.
I look at if I'm in high school and I'm like, "Oh, James Earl Jones is Darth
Mm-hmm.
Vader," you know, amazing. But there's a level of separation between Hollywood Darth Vader, like one of the most well-known villains of all time, and someone who gets on a stage locally
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and plays the fuck out of a role and inspires somebody to make a change in their life just because of something that they saw,
Mm-hmm.
or it changes their perspective of the
Mm-hmm.
world. you know I'd love to be rich. I don't know if I want to be famous. I don't want all that attention, but
Right.
but but like if I can just enrich people's lives and my own and be financially stable to the point where I don't feel like I'm a miss rent next month, maybe I
Yeah.
can take my nieces and nephews to Disney on Ice or something.
Yeah.
Like that'd be fucking great.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's
I love
it's
that for
really
you.
cool though that you're involved and you are an example for them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And um and you should also applaud yourself because I remember reading those little pieces of paper in school and reading theater and going like, "Oh, I want to do that so bad, but I am so terrified by it." And now we're in this industry.
Yeah. And
And
it's
I went to LVA, so I had the
oh
opportunity
yeah.
so many times to be on stage and I didn't. And what you said about being a black man in the fine arts, yes, I am very proud that you are because there's not a lot of them. Like even in my class, I think there was 10. There was 5 Hispanic kids, 10 black kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you have a breadcrumb right there. We always talk about breadcrumbs. I feel like that I saw a spark in you right there. And I feel
Yeah.
like, yeah, right. You saw that too? And I
Yeah.
feel like that's something you should, maybe
Explore.
explore. Yeah. It sounds like you're open to it. So it seems like maybe you need to just step through that window, climb through that
Yeah.
window, walk through that door just to see, um, just because you never know where it's going to take you. And it might be, it turn into something unexpected, right? Or that's like in a positive way, or it could, just
Mhm.
lead you down another path that you didn't realize, because we're all going the same direction. It's just
Yeah.
we're just doing different things on our own paths. So I'm excited for you. That's
Thank
exciting
you.
Yeah,
for
me
you.
too.
Um, so I feel like it's like that point in the recording and in this whole process, like where I want to ask you some like little random questions. Gabby, do you have any like
Okay.
little random questions? I feel like we could probably sit here and talk to you for a couple of hours and just be on the Lloyd brain train, and we never know where we're gonna go.
It's a
Yeah.
long set of tracks, let me tell you.
But so okay, so listeners want to know coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner is your favorite?
Oh, lunch.
Okay. What's your favorite like type of food that you would be
Ooh,
your go-to? Like,
that's a terrible question.
okay, I know, sorry.
It's not a bad question. It's
It's
just
too
terrible for
hard.
me.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm indecisive
Voice
and
of
I'm
reason.
not
Voice of
picky.
reason.
I have
Um,
a random question. If you don't
okay.
want to think about that real quick.
Okay.
Did you ever use a nightlight? And if so, how long did you use it for?
I don't know if I did.
I
I feel
totally
like I
did.
did, but I don't remember it, which I had to have because I was always afraid of the dark.
That
I
is such
had
a
to have.
Lloyd answer.
I was afraid of the dark and also had some early paranormal experiences that solidified that for me. So I was like,
Ooh.
yeah, there had to have been a nightlight, or a hallway light on.
Mm-hmm.
But
A
yeah,
closet light on, bathroom light on, something. Yeah. Well, that's a good
yeah.
one. Okay, so what is there a food that type that or, anything like Italian, Mexican? Do you like
I just love food.
Okay, well that's good. That's okay. That's good.
I'm the
All
I
right.
same
don't
way.
really like calamari. I don't really like calamari.
Oh,
So that's the
really?
opposite of the question.
No, that's a good. That's
I just
good.
I hate cephalopods in general, but like the weird like sticky like if the like suction cups still work a little bit.
Oh
I know
my
some people
God.
like that. I do not.
Is it
No.
suction cup to your throat
Oh,
as you're swallowing it?
like tongues.
Oh my God.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And they're like, is that octopus, right? That's an
Mhm.
octopus. Yeah. They're like smart, right? I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
There was a whole thing recently where I you'll have to look it up yourself, but there was a thing I saw where some scientists were like, if the Earth went to crap, the next dominant species would be octopus
Oct- No way.
because they have the level of
So
intelligence that
random.
would afford them the ability to develop tools that they could use.
Yeah.
See, that's another thing I should have said in the beginning of all this, that you always have fun
Fun
facts.
facts. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, fun for some people. My roommate, I'll text her and be like, "Fun fact," and she'll be like, "It better be fun." Sometimes it's like, "Oh well, if the sun exploded 7 minutes ago, we would
Oh
find out two
gosh.
minutes from now."
That is a mind bender right there. Like I can't
Mm.
even think about that. So, okay, so so when you get in your car, like do you do random like if you're gonna go on vacation, like are you sporadic like or spontaneous? Like do you just get in your car and go? Or are you like it seems like you might be a little bit more of a planner. Have you been on a vacation recently?
um, in
That's
my
probably should probably
car,
start there.
not really. No, I haven't been on a vacation recently. I I don't know the last time I went on a vacation, but if I go
Soon.
like, you know what's crazy is I'm taking off pretty much all of next week, so I don't lose my mind at work. But is it a vacation? My wallet doesn't say so. Um, if I do like I guess the closest thing to that like a day trip, right? Some
Yeah.
friends and I will go to like improv shows in LA sometimes.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
cool.
Because the crazy thing, like they're $20 shows.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
don't live there.
Right.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
not too far though from Vegas to
yeah, it's
it's
like a
like a
4 or 5 hour drive.
4 hour. Yeah.
So
Plus
we
food and gas.
go and yeah, and we take my car because it's the most gas efficient, can fit the most people. Um,
pile them in.
yeah. And we just
I love that.
it's a lot cheaper when you split gas in the most fuel efficient car. So people
Mhm.
are like, get a flight. No, do not get a flight. Just everybody get in the car. Um, but
Voice of reason.
yeah, yeah. I like we'll go to like random like if there's a food spot that looks interesting, you know.
Yeah. There's so
But
much to do
no,
in Las Vegas because that's where you reside. That's where you're based, right?
yeah. The last like yeah, there's so much to do here. The last thing that I actually like was super spontaneous was probably like 2 years ago now, almost 2 years, a year and a half ago. A bunch of people in the improv community, which is it's I'm 31 and it's so interesting because I'm so firmly in the middle of the age groups of the improv community, right? There's like the college kids who are like 18 to 24 and then
Sure.
there's like the people who are like 50 to 80,
The old
you
people,
know older. But like
seasoned.
I yeah,
Experience.
I really like 40 to, but like I sit in the middle of those, and it's so funny because all the like younger people decided we're gonna pack up 3 cars and go to Lake Havasu. So that was a thing that happened. Like,
What's that?
it's in Arizona, Lake
Havasu?
Havasu. Yeah, it's like a, it's just a, it's a very
This
nice place with the lake. We could never afford to live there, but we can go
for the
and
day.
yeah, we wanted to get a boat, but that was too expensive. Uh,
You
That
can't
sound
afford to live there yet.
oh
can't afford to
yeah,
get a boat yet,
I
right?
honestly would
Yeah.
never want to live in Lake Havasu because I don't think I would feel safe. And
Havasu.
yeah, there's too
No, but what
many.
I mean is eventually you'll get
Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, I sorry, I get what you mean. Lake Havasu. The lake is great.
Was that recent?
Demographic breakdown is
Uh,
no, it was like a year and a half ago.
I don't remember that. Okay, that's cool.
I probably didn't. But I don't know if I talked about it.
I don't think so.
That was
There's a
like almost.
lot about you that we don't know right now, Lloyd, so that's why we're here.
Yeah, that was the most sporadic thing. I thought you were gonna ask me about music when I'm driving.
Yeah,
But when you
let's
said
ask.
spontaneous, I am very, very my musical tastes are all over the place. And it's kind of ridiculous. Sometimes I will listen to my own stuff. Sometimes I will listen to Spotify Daylist. My current Spotify Daylist is Cover Siren Saturday Morning because I listen to Epic Thunderstorm on Saturday mornings. And they're like, here's some cover siren writing heroic fairy tale and fantasy.
Huh,
Um,
didn't even know that was a thing.
me neither.
oh yeah, Spotify, yeah. Yeah. I've also realized recently that my Spotify thinks I'm a woman. Uh,
Oh my
because it
God.
continues to give me day lists or like clean girl Saturdays or like like
Oh my God, it's
coastal
hilarious.
cowgirl whatever like
Coastal cowgirl.
one of them I sent to my ex and it was really funny. It was like thinking of
Um,
him something something something.
Oh my God. That's too
um
funny. That's
but
better than
yeah.
any random question that I've ever I even attempted to ask you. Coastal cowgirl.
Yeah,
My
my music
spot.
is all over the place.
Oh my
Sometimes we're
God.
like Disney, sometimes we're hard rock, sometimes it's pop. Not much jazz. Some jazz. Um, I think the only genre of music I really don't listen to, I don't listen to specific genres of metal. Like I don't listen to like there's a couple of like death metal songs I listen to, but not many. Um, there's too many subgenres of rock actually. Never mind.
Yeah.
Certain ones
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, okay.
Alternative rock. Yeah. Yeah. I get
Well,
it.
I listen to alternative rock, but the
Alternative.
stuff that like is made intentionally to freak people out, I don't listen
Oh,
to mostly,
yeah.
but
Like
there are a few things.
like death metal or something.
Yeah.
I don't get into the subgenres, but I understand what you're talking about. You have a very eclectic listening ear, I think it sounds like. But then
Yes.
also maybe mainstream too, right? Just everything.
Not as mainstream, but yeah, everything.
There's a lot of stuff that you listen to that I don't know. But that's not actually unusual because, well, okay, that's interesting. Okay, Gabby, do you have any other random questions that you want to ask? No. I have like
Wait,
silly
wait, wait.
questions.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yes. Okay.
What's your favorite candy?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I mean, I like chocolate more than everything. Favorite candy,
What type of chocolate?
milk chocolate.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have a
Um,
specific brand you like?
I would say Hershey's, but I don't know if it's Hershey's. It's just Hershey's is easily accessible.
Yeah.
Mm.
Toblerone's really good, but Toblerone's expensive.
Yeah. Your wallet says
um,
Hershey.
yeah, my wallet says Hershey. And I don't really dive into like the Ghirardellis and stuff like that because those are also expensive. But I guess for now, we'll go with Hershey.
Movie. Off the top of your head, what's the most recent? I know this is going to be like in the musical category of things, but like, what's the most recent movie you watched?
The most recent movie
Yeah.
I watched, Spider-Verse Across, or Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, that's been
Nice.
out a while though, right?
It's
I
been a
thought you were
while, but
gonna
I
say Wicked.
rewatched it. I rewatched it. I plan on watching Wicked, but I haven't seen it yet
Oh,
because I
it's
had a
good.
show last night.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's good.
Yeah, I haven't watched Wicked either.
I
Okay,
really want to.
the Spider-Man, that whole series is like
Hmm.
it's good. I love it. And I love the soundtracks too. Those soundtracks
Yeah,
are
they're
pretty
really good.
sweet. Yeah, those are in terms of
Yeah.
like music. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Okay, Lloyd, is there any final thoughts before we dive into like the fun question? And then Gabby's going to
Mm.
ask you the final question, of course. Our round
There's
table.
You asked me if there were any final thoughts, and I have so many thoughts all the time, and I just look down at this little sticky note with bills on it,
Oh God.
which I don't need in my booth. Like
Yeah. Why do you?
that's um uh final thoughts. I don't know. Thank you guys for being you.
Aw.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
anything like maybe just do it, right? Just like go for it. Maybe if someone's
Yeah.
thinking about, yeah.
If you're afraid to do something, you not doing it is not going to make you less afraid of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I like that. I like
just
that a
do
lot.
it and see how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, voice of reason. See, that's solidified it. Okay, so question 1, 2, or 3. And I
3.
don't like this question.
Oh.
Can you pick 1 or 2?
Well, now I'm curious.
Okay,
What's the
fine.
So
question?
you can
What is something that you wish you could enjoy?
something I wish I could enjoy.
It's a round table.
You don't like this because you don't want to answer
Maybe, maybe not.
it.
Stop it.
That is a hard question.
Right?
I think that there are a lot of things in life that for me, because I'm in my head so much, I can only enjoy in the moment. But as
Mm.
soon as I'm out of that, I'm like, okay, we're freaking out again.
Mm.
Um, so I'm going to just give a general life.
Life. Life.
Yeah,
You wish you
life.
could enjoy life.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, we're not going to get into therapy conversations from yesterday, but despite the fact that I uh am doing okay on a very real note, there are often times where I'm like, I don't know if I'm enjoying life, especially with recent events and what have it. And
Hmm.
I do want to
Mm-hmm.
be at a point where I'm like, okay, I'm not. There's always this mindset that people have where like life is up and down and you hold on to like the good things.
Hmm.
But I would love to get to a point where I'm not just trying to hold on to the good things. There are more good things than there are bad things.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah,
I can resonate with that. Like, you don't want to just be surviving, you want to be thriving. Yeah.
right.
I like
Mm.
that a lot. That's very deep, Lloyd. Okay, I was
Yeah.
just gonna say food.
still say
I,
food?
I am gonna say food because I always have a stomach ache. So that was my
Okay.
round table answer. End of story. But I like yours better. Okay,
Yeah,
Gabby.
me too. This is really deep. Mine is just shrimp because I'm allergic to it.
Hey,
Food too.
and that's valid.
But life too. Like there are moments where I'm like, I need to find more joy. Why am I
Yes.
not enjoying this? Like I see other people that are enjoying it and I might not be. So yeah, I get that. I heavily resonate with that. That's another point. Go ahead.
Actually, I have a perfect example of this. Uh, about a year or so ago, Fluorescent Beige, my first improv troupe, first all black improv troupe in Vegas. We had our second show, and after the show, we took the money from our first show, and our guests, the Fishermen, who are an improv group, they're all roommates, they all do improv, they all do creative stuff, and they're all musicians. We took that money and had like a party at their house.
Oh,
And there was, I mean, regardless of what you're into, it doesn't matter. There was, there was alcohol, there was weed, there was whatever.
right.
And these guys are all musicians. And there's a point, I have a video on my phone of, the song Riptide?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know the lyrics.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be your...
Yes.
No, that's not.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, there's a where there I have a video on my phone of everybody, like they're playing the song and everybody's singing it, and there's like this harmonizing that's happening, and it's this very beautiful moment. And I remember that night thinking this is one of the best nights of my life.
Aw.
And I was talking to someone else about that conversation, about that night, and they were like, "Yeah, I agree with that. Like, this is a great night." And I have always maintained that I want more experiences that make me feel like that,
Mm-hmm.
that make me feel like life is worth living.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I like that a lot. I like what you just said. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very deep, Lloyd.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. Sometimes it's like you want to enjoy something so much and then you're enjoying it and then you don't want it to go away and you just want
Right.
more of it. Could be a simple cup of coffee that's just the best cup of coffee in the world, or like a moment with
Yeah.
your friends, or like you're driving in the car and the favorite song comes on and the wind is blowing and it's like just, like you just feel at peace for like,
Right.
yeah, I want all of that. Let's just wrap it up and send it to me for the holiday gift or something. Um,
Well,
Thank you, Lloyd, for sharing with us. And Gabby's gonna ask the final question, but I feel like we need to change it up a little bit because Lloyd already knows what the final question is.
and I wouldn't be able to answer it. So
You wouldn't?
I don't know. Like the normal question,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, go ahead.
I
The
don't
normal question is what's out of everything you've done, what's the one thing you're most proud of?
yeah.
And you don't think you could answer that?
I
Not with the normal answer that everybody gives. That's
right.
what you're saying.
I definitely can't. I don't have kids for those who listen. Um I I'm gonna God, I hate being introspective. I'm gonna be entirely honest, and it's maybe a little heavy, but like just being here, because there was a point at which I was like, maybe no.
Hmm.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a good answer. That's very deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely resonates. Life is tough,
Mm.
Yeah.
it can kick you it can kick you when you don't even realize it's going to kick you, or slam you into the wall when you don't even realize it's going to slam you into the wall. So, and just moving through it is tough. I'm
Yeah.
glad you're here,
Thank
Yeah,
you.
me too.
Thank you.
and I'm glad you're a part of this, and I'm glad that you're sharing your story. So, thank you for
Thank
coming
you so
on
much,
and
Lloyd.
letting us highlight.
Thank you for being here and having me. And,
Yes, King, King of Hearts, Lloyd
King of
Waller.
Hearts.
Yes, the voice of reason.
We'll need a picture of that clock.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we
Oh,
do.
did you think it was it's Kingdom Hearts?
Kingdom
King.
Hearts.
Oh, I saw. Well, there you go. That would be
Yeah.
a Jocelyn thing right there. Kingdom. What is it?
Kingdom,
Kingdom.
Of
KINDOM.
Hearts. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought you said king. Well, you're the King of Hearts. Thank